Yo, yeah, yeah. So listen, it's episode 27 of the Hangar Hangout. We were really going to focus predominantly, of course, on how the Jets looked against the Broncos. I'm sorry, not the Broncos, the Vikings, out there in London. And then, of course, kind of talk about the Buffalo Bills game. But if you're a Jets fan, you woke up today getting breaking news, and it wasn't the breaking news that we were expecting. Coach Saleh got fired today. Something Woody Johnson has not done in a very, very long, like actually ever in his tenure as the Jets owner. It's shocking, but I think it's going to be something that we need to talk about. So yeah, it's going to be a great show.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we go.
So it's a new regime. It's a new regime. Listen, the Jets are 2-3. They play the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football for literally first place in the AFC East. And today, Woody decided that he was going to fire his head coach. He's going to fire our head coach in Coach Saleh. Not something I think we were really expecting, but you know what? We're going to talk about it. I mean, it's real news. It happened. Without further ado, tonight's guest, we got Abby in the building. So yeah, let's talk Jets. Hey, Abby, how you doing?
What's up? What a day.
Yeah.
Never a moment over here.
I was sitting here earlier talking to the wife, and I was just like, I just wish there was one season as a Jets fan in the last like decade that we could just go through a season and it'd be a normal season, like win or lose, whatever, just be a normal season. But no, not New York Jets fans. We get special treatment. I literally had to coin it. I decided that from this day forth, New York Jets fans are erratic in terms of their behavior because we suffer from PTJD, post traumatic Jets disorder. I don't know how else to explain it, but listen, first and foremost, the Vikings game. I know we're just going to touch on that real quick. What did you see about the Vikings game that really, as of right now, making you question if this team is even a playoff caliber team?
I mean, I honestly, I posted my rant already. I placed a lot of blame on Aaron Rodgers. He was absolutely terrible against the Vikings. I mean, 3 interceptions, and then to end the game on an interception as well, obviously to Stephon Gilmore, who Jets fans are absolutely 100% used to seeing from his time with the Patriots. But it was just, it's Aaron Rodgers. And then let's talk about it. It's something we've already mentioned over and over, the play calling. It's not creative. We went back to a run, pass, and that's not even working because we don't even have the run game is non-existent. Breece Hall, where are you? I have no idea what's going on. And then to be mad at that and then shift to this, I mean, you can place so much blame on different people when it comes to the Vikings game. And then obviously shifting to what the news today, it was so unexpected. I know we'll get into it here, but I mean, I honestly, now the Vikings game is so far in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I was pissed literally going into this morning, and then the news broke about Saleh, and I was like, the Viking game in the back of my mind. What Vikings game? So yeah, the Vikings game was just uber frustrating to watch. It's just the fact that this defense lights out every single week, and this offense cannot produce anything. Just anything. Nothing is going for them. I don't think we had a first down until maybe the second quarter, like late in the second quarter. It's awful. It's everybody on the offense. It's Rodgers. It's the play calling. It's Alan Lazard dropping 4 passes. There's plenty of blame to go around. And Robert Saleh today was, of course, the scapegoat.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to, right, is that I looked at the Jets loss this against the Vikings, and I was infuriated. I was, but in all actuality, I put a lot of the blame on Keith Carter, a lot of the blame on Nathaniel Hackett, a lot of the blame on Aaron Rodgers on that game. I really felt like Aaron Rodgers had a chance to win that game if he hits Garrett Wilson on that double move. Boom, touchdown. Game's over. The defense was playing lights out. No way were you going to convince me that Sam Darnold was going to drive down the field to go ahead and score to win the game. It wasn't going to happen. I think the Jets missed on that opportunity. And then just against the Broncos, let's be honest again. If Greg the Leg Zerline makes the field goal, the Jets are literally sitting 4-1. They're sitting 4-1 right now. If a couple of those things happen, literally one play away both times. He got fired. Listen, I definitely jumped on Twitter, and I might have gone on a podcast or two and just screamed that the Jets needed to get rid of this coaching staff. I was frustrated. Erratic Jets fan. The PTJD is legitimately real in me. I've embraced it. It is who I am now, and I want everybody gone. I did, but I was primarily focused on Nathaniel Hackett and Carter. This morning, I was ready to go ahead and talk with you tonight about the Vikings game, how we could have done things better, where we could have been, blah, 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 and then talk about the Buffalo Bills. But then this happens, and I'm like, not the breaking news I was really hoping to wake up to. I was 100% expecting to wake up to breaking news. The New York Jets have acquired Devontae Adams. And it's is no longer the coach of the New York Jets. I get why. I get why, right? I think when you really break it down, you got to be honest with yourself. This season is eerily similar to last season. I think we can all agree that we're 2-3 right now. We were 2-3 this time last year. I saw a disgusting stat, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. The New York Jets, literally between this season and last season, are the same team. I'm looking at this, and it made me sick to my stomach. But the New York Jets, freaking this time last year, were 2-3. And had scored 93 points. 93 points offensively. The New York Jets in 2024 with a better offensive line, better wide receiver room, better running back, better quarterback are 2-3. They've scored 93 points offensively on the season. I saw that, man, and I thought to myself, wow, that's ugly. That's ugly. I think at some point you've got to go ahead and hold the coach accountable, right? You got to hold Salah accountable. We deserve better. We deserve better. And Woody felt the same way. Woody decided that, listen, I didn't go ahead and invest all this money for you guys to give me the same product. I didn't do all of this to go ahead and give you guys the money you wanted for the wide receivers, money you wanted for the offensive line, for you to go ahead and then turn around and produce the exact same product. I mean, again, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I think Woody really showcased some intestinal fortitude today. He did. Listen, in the military, we have a saying, right? Like, in the unit, every now and again, you need to go ahead and rile up the masses, get everybody refocused, get them back on track. And oftentimes, it requires you, because you go through the same monotonous, continuous kind of stuff. It gets a little bit monotonous, right? Like it's just you're accustomed to it. You got to shoot a hostage. You got to shoot a hostage. And I don't mean literally put a bullet into somebody and shoot a hostage, but sometimes you got to blast an individual who's not pulling their weight, within the unit, and let the rest of them know that, like, hey, it could be you next if you don't go ahead and step your game up. Whether that means you demote the individual, you call that a non-judicial punishment, an NJP, something ridiculous. You shoot a hostage, right? You pick an individual that's not holding up to the standard, and you go ahead and you either demote them, you give them extra unnecessary hardship duties, whatever you need to do. But you do that publicly so the rest of the members of the team know, hey, man, the boss means business. I think Woody did that today. I think Woody literally shot a hostage. He did so, well, figuratively shot a hostage. And that hostage was Coach Salah. Again, the head coach, not Nathaniel Hackett, not Keith Carter. He went straight for the jugular and he went after Coach Salah. I mean, do you think we should have waited?
Never done something like this. Going back to the stats real quick from last year to this year, it is more embarrassing that Danny Jones is out playing Aaron Rodgers as well. Like, I don't know if you saw his stats. Completion percentage is better. I saw a side by side earlier. It was god awful. Danny Jones, and I hate him. He's like the most overpaid mid-tier quarterback, and the fact that he's outplaying us right now is insane. I know you asked me if you thought it was soon. I've been kind of saying I am not surprised by the news. I'm surprised by the timing of this. I thought he was at least we got a big game Monday night football against the Buffalo Bills. We have a chance at first place in the AFC East. And I thought he was going to let Salah at least go all the way through there. I think this kind of disrupts. It can either disrupt or ignite. We don't know. We'll see Monday Night Football how it turns out, but I felt like it could disrupt that. And I mean, it's a done deal. It's a bold move. Like I said, I understand. Salah was part of the problem. The problem is, at the end of the day, facts are facts. 20 wins, 36 losses, I believe. That's a fact. There's no arguing that. He's part of the problem. Unfortunately, when it comes to Hackett, he is going to be here because Aaron Rodgers is here. So he's not going anywhere. Of course, I would like to see him go, but yeah, those are facts. You can't argue with that. He's part of the problem. Yeah. And it's not even just with like the offense. I mean, we've seen other issues too, time management issues that are still kind of going into this season as well. I just don't feel like we're developing at all. And like I said, Hackett is only safe because of Rodgers. I think if Rodgers wasn't here, Hackett would have been gone. So
yeah, no, 100%. I think last season specifically, this should have happened last year. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves, like last year we should have seen Coach Solly getting let go. The whole coaching staff, really, it was atrocious what they did in terms of the production on the field after Rodgers went down. They had no plan, no adjustments, no nothing. It's beyond frustrating because last year we thought we had improved the team. I think, in hindsight, we all realized there was a lot of missing components and missing pieces, especially on that offensive line. It wasn't just a one thing away where Aaron Rodgers could have fixed it all, but it was as if we quit. As if we quit after freaking Aaron Rodgers went down and there was no kind of adjustment and the feeding of the same consistent, like, hey, we're going to get it fixed. We're going to get it fixed. We're going to get it right. We know what we're like. It got so to the point where I think half of Jets fans were just like, man, just forget it. Get rid of – people were really saying, like, get rid of Rodgers, just start over, just start the rebuild process now. People were over it. But this speaks for itself. This record of what Coach Salah brought to the table – it's far from impressive. And the fact that he went this long is telling just how patient Woody was with this rebuild, with this process. But at some point or another, again, you got to expect results. Salah was not bringing results. And again, Woody Johnson has never done this. In his tenure as the owner, he has never done this. But I'll say this. The fact that he did do it tells me how serious about what he expects from this team this season. He put the statement out earlier today, and I believe the statement, I'll put it up here for us to take a look at. And he kind of broke down that, listen, the Jets just weren't up to par as to what they were expecting. Now, mind you, the AFC as a whole right now just looks atrocious. It seems like from top to bottom, even the Chiefs that are winning, they're 5-0, they haven't looked like they're a 5-0 team. It's been rough right now in terms of the AFC. But there were still expectations that Woody made clear, like, hey, I did all this. Can we get to the playoffs? Can we make a push to the Super Bowl? For you to be 2-3, you're playing the Bills on Monday night for potentially to take the lead in the AFC East and to make this move now and fire your head coach, who, mind you, has been pretty successful against the Buffalo Bills, tells me everything I need to know. I don't believe for a second that Woody felt that the close losses were what he was expecting. He was expecting potentially to be in those games and win those games, to be in this predicament and make this move. I think I got to go back to what I think it was Tyson earlier. He said this on his show. If you were going to make this change, better to do it early than to do it late. Because if you do it late, then it's over, right? Right now we're 2-3. We're still very much in the fight. Making this kind of a move can potentially light a fire under the Jets team. But if need be, like, something had to happen. Something had to change. Again, in my mind, I thought said hostage was going to be Hackett or freaking the O-line called Carter, right? I thought it was going to be one of those two guys in terms of the figuratively speaking hostage that gets taken out. But wasn't the case. He went straight for the big guns, and he went after Salah, and now Salah is gone. Now, There are other reports that I want to ask you a question. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but there's other reports stating that um, so Woody and I believe it was Woody and freaking uh, Ulbrich had a meeting last night, and apparently during that meeting they also had a Jets player on the phone call. And then this morning, of course, news gets put out. Do you believe that Ulbrich or potentially another player was involved in the decision making process of potentially letting Saleh go today? And if so, who do you think that player was?
I mean, didn't he already say, obviously, this has all been unraveling as the days gone on. Didn't he already say he spoke to Aaron Rodgers last night? And
Yes.
so he didn't say in what context. I don't believe he said it was a one-on-one conversation, but I feel like it had to have been Aaron Rodgers. We built this team around him. You can't tell me he didn't want any advice from him or want to inform him or anything like that. I think it absolutely had to be Aaron Rodgers. And I appreciate Woody Johnson at least standing on business. And we've talked a lot about accountability over the last couple of weeks. He took accountability and said, "Hey, I let JD know, but at the end of the day, this was my decision." And he stood on it. And I was like, all right, we've been talking about that. Someone's got to. And after hearing like Quincy Williams go off and just say, "I'm tired of saying the same shit. I'm tired of the fans are tired of hearing the same shit." Obviously Woody Johnson took that personally and was like, all right, then make a huge change and whatnot. But it had to have been Aaron Rodgers in that room. I think there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, listen, I understand, the thought process of making sure he shields any player or even Ulbrich from the stigma of potentially having been involved in the coup that got Coach Saleh fired, right? I can understand his concern in regards to how that would impact the locker room. But I mean, I just don't see a situation or a scenario where anybody's buying it. I don't think that you make that kind of move without consulting Aaron Rodgers. Again, if you're all in on the season, that hedges on the arm of an Aaron Rodgers, right, and how he's going to be able to go ahead and play this year. You asked the question. That conversation was brought up, and I'm not saying Rodgers said fire him. He needs to be gone. I'm not saying he said that, but I have a hard time believing that he wasn't consulted or at least made aware of the direction that he wanted to go. Now, the fact that Joe Douglas didn't know anything about it until this morning, until 15 minutes prior to, that to me was a bit shocking, right? And it made me kind of wonder, like, man, is Joe Douglas maybe on the hot seat too, where where Woody felt like, I don't need your advice on this one, I'm going to do it anyway. 15 minutes prior to didn't give him a lot of preparation time. We haven't heard from Joe Douglas. We haven't heard from anybody really other than Ulbrich and Woody about this entire situation. How do you think the locker room right now is dealing with this transition?
I mean, I think everyone's just confused. Like, if you've seen reports from like Connor Hughes, everyone is just absolutely shocked. I mean, there's a reason he kept it within the small inner circle. And that's why people like JD didn't know till 15 minutes before. So the thing is, I don't know. That the thing is, they're going to play for Ulbrich no matter what. I know they loved playing for Saleh, but they're going to play for Ulbrich as well. And at the same time, you have to, I think there are a lot of times at least happy for him as well. You know what I mean? Because he's been scouted in the offseason. He was going to find, it's a matter of time before he's going to find a head coaching job. You know what I mean? So let's see what he can go ahead and do now. But I don't think there's any tension. The thing is, someone needs to be held accountable. That's what they were looking for. Maybe not in that way or that drastic of a move, but you asked for accountability and he took it. So beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, I was sitting there earlier doing my reaction video to this whole situation, and the first thing that came to my mind was, I believe now more so than before there was more to it when it came to Aaron Rodgers and the reaction of him pushing Coach Saleh. I mean, that video created, I don't want to say an uproar, but it had a lot of people speculating as to what was going on. And then you look at this happening now, just a couple of weeks later, and you're also talking about a situation where Rodgers is coming off of his worst game as a professional, not just a Jet, as a professional. And to, of course, make a move like this, and I don't want to say, but you in essence, like you utilize that, right, that situation as potentially cause, right? A reason, right? Like, listen, we're 2-3, which again, not bad. We're still in the mix. We're still right there in terms of literally even in our own division, taking the lead. You let him go after Aaron Rodgers has one of his worst games. I just think it's kind of fishy. But to move on to Ulbrich, I agree with you 1,000%. Ulbrich during the offseason, the 49ers were begging for him to potentially come over there and be their defensive coordinator, a guy who was highly sought after. He's respected. Again, he's got 9 years of NFL experience playing linebacker. He was a third-round draft pick of the San Francisco 49ers. The dude understands the game. He played at a pretty good level, too. He started 50-plus games out of the 120 that he played. So it wasn't like he was somebody who doesn't understand, the ins and outs of the NFL game and the process. I believe that's going to benefit him when it comes to engaging with this locker room. I think Ulbrich is one of those guys that not only is he loved and respected by players because he himself was a player. I think also since 2010, I think his first coaching gig was with the Seattle Seahawks. He's earned his way up to this point, since 2010. So he's been literally playing and or coaching in this league for a very long time. So he's got the respect and the love of the players. And I think he's got the love and the admiration of the coaches. And that's a great combination of things. I think Ulbrich can do a pretty good job. I've been on record as saying it before, and I even stated it earlier today. When I look at Ulbrich, I really get Dan Campbell vibes. I get a guy that, understands the game at a level. He's not just a player's coach. He's a player that's now a coach, and I think that goes a long way into creating that separation. I think he's going to be able to hold individuals accountable. I think that at some point or another, Coach Saleh became more of a player's advocate than he was a coach. He just kept finding ways to make sure he minimized the exposure of bad play from the team, the lack of preparation. I don't think we're going to see that with Ulbrich. I really see that this could be the infusion the team needs right now to take the reins of this season, go on this run that, Rodgers has been telling us about, and potentially, of course, ending this freaking playoff drought, maybe even winning the AFC East division. Ulbrich, the more and more I've settled with on the decision today, yes, I get it. I think the timing of it is what's most shocking about this whole situation. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that freaking Saleh's a great coach. Can't believe we let him go. Woe is me. The dude's getting paid $10 million right now for the next 2 years to sit at home if he wanted to. He's going to be okay. And the moment he decides he wants to go ahead and play again in the league, I saw it in the chat too by numerous individuals, he's going to be he's going to be the first defensive coordinator off the board if he decides that he wants to go ahead and coach again. No ifs, ands, or buts. The guy is a great defensive coordinator. He just wasn't cut out to be a head coach, and that's okay. That is still an elite position to be held in the NFL. You're still one of the few men in the world that can do what you do. So embrace that, run with it. I think Ulbrich is a guy that can not only do the defensive thing, but has the potential to also do the head coaching thing. And I'm excited to see what that looks like as early as Monday.
This offense needed a spark, and Woody Johnson was like, "Oh, we're gonna light a whole ass bonfire under this whole team's ass." And I believe you posted it, Ulbrich, in that speech when they were watching film. I mean, He gets me hyped. And yep. You know what? Let's be honest. Looking at Saleh on the sideline the last couple of weeks, no emotion. It's like no passion, no energy there. That's maybe something that this team needs as well. And you know what? I thought Ulbrich today did very well. He handled some tough questions. But at the same time, he was brought here because of Saleh. So he's not in an easy position either, because I'm sure he's like, sure, this is a great move for me, but also this is my friend. You know what I mean? I learned it at the same time. But Robert Saleh, the thing is, he's a great defensive coordinator. That's not his job here. He's the New York Jets head coach. You are responsible for both sides of the football, whether you like it or not. So no one's questioning his defensive coordinator position. He will absolutely 100% get another job. It just didn't. It didn't work out here. And you can blame, bad quarterback play. You can blame so many other things. At the end of the day, I mean, just facts are facts. He acts like he was working with absolutely nothing, and that's not the case. Especially last 2 years, we have weapons. So,
I think that, Jets West actually tweeted something earlier today that I think I want to share with you guys. So Jets West, I'm not sure if you guys follow him, but of course he's on Twitter. He's one of the New York Jets fanatic OGs. And he tweeted something on on Twitter, and it really made me think, right? Let me go ahead and here it is. I found it. Let me go ahead and pull this up. All right. And he said he decided to remind us, remember when Salah got COVID and Ron Middleton filled in and immediately gave us our most creative game plan we saw that year? And I saw that and I thought to myself, wait a minute, I remember this. Like, Middleton had to go ahead and cover for Salah because obviously he tested positive for COVID. And in that game, this was like game 5 or 6 of the season. And in that game, not only did we win the game, but we saw an offense that we had not seen before Middleton took over, nor did we see it after Salah came back. Like, it was one of those situations where we were looking at it and we thought like something had clicked and the team was on the right track. And I was pumped up because we saw a level of creativity. Like, it looked like an NFL caliber offense. And I thought to myself, man, okay. So the team got figured out. They're doing this for Salah. Salah is freaking got COVID. They're like, we got you, coach. You're going to go ahead and go out here and show off. And I thought like it meant the offense had found its way. But the very next week, they went back to the very vanilla approach, and they started to go ahead and become more timid again, and the creativity just vanished. Now, I thought about that. I started thinking to myself, we've heard Salah numerous times in press conferences talking about like, hey, first to 15 points wins this game. First to 20 points wins this game. First to 20. It's almost as if he's always had a cap of what the points scored need to be in order for the team to win the game. And it gets you thinking, like, is this dude purposely under the thought process of, I believe so much in my defense, we don't need to go ahead and get crazy on offense to risk turnovers or whatever the case might be. I'm just going to go ahead and trust my defense to win these games for us, get to like 15 points, 21 points, then boom, defense got it. Has he been the cause that potentially we've seen such a vanilla approach to the offense because of the fact that he believes his defense is going to be the reason why they win games? Because again, small sample size, but that was an exciting game that we saw when Rod Middleton was our head coach for that particular day.
That's a really good point. And the thing is, the defense has done that so far this year for the most part, and still no production on the other side of the ball. So no, I had actually seen this tweet earlier too. I'm part of the little probably 100 likes that I got on it.
Yeah, I mean, but it made me think. It makes you think.
This offense is so vanilla for an offense that has arguably one of the best running backs in the league. We have great receivers, arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time. What looks like that now, I know game 1 was not as great, but looks back now like a top 5 defense. Every other team is figuring it out with that, and the Jets are not. Absolutely not. It's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating.
Speaking of the offense, I mean, this has been one of those things that's kind of had me freaking out all day. Appreciate you, Jed, out for the first super chat of the night. He says Derek Carr being out make Adams a sure deal. So we haven't heard much about the Devontae Adams situation ever since this whole Salah thing popped off. Like, personally, I still believe it gets done. I still believe that it just makes too much sense for him to be a New York Jet. I don't see a situation where Woody makes a decision to let go of his head coach, at 2-3 to save the season, but refuses to open up the pocketbook to go ahead and bring in a talent that's going to obviously make the offense better. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where it's a home run offense, but it adds another layer of dummy proof so Hackett can't mess this up more. What do you think about the Devontae Adams situation now, not only because of the Derek Carr injury, but because of the Salah firing?
I think a deal still gets done. I mean, I thought it was going to be done today, hence why the Kay Adams interview was canceled, and then now it's just taken a whole spin. I think a deal still gets done. It still makes too much sense not for him to come here. You know what I mean? And sure, he's not going to solve all the problems on the offense, but he's going to add to it, which sure as hell helps. You know what I mean? We've seen the lack of connection that he's had. Sure, Garrett Wilson had a great game this past Sunday. That wasn't the case before. You know what I mean? There's still a little bit of a connection issue. You can't tell me, even on the last play of the past game with the Vikings, Mike Williams, I don't know why he didn't turn his head. I feel like someone who knew Rodgers would have known to turn their head at the same time. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Those little things will matter and make a difference. That game was easily winnable, and I think I had it going into the season as a win, but obviously things changed. I saw how hot the Vikings were looking.
Yeah.
I was like, the thing is, I saw the spread was at 2.5. I was like, this game in no way, shape, and form is going to be a blowout. And there's no reason we shouldn't have won that game. It shouldn't have even come down to the very end either. We should have been up and we should have capitalized on points. And, I think the thing that was frustrating about the Vikings game on top of it is I get people want to nitpick things, and they were still nitpicking this defense. And I'm like, sure, Quincy Williams tripped and should have taken it to the house. Sure, Sauce should have had that in the end zone. It doesn't matter where you put this team on the field; they weren't going to drive the ball anywhere. They were not productive at all, and so it frustrated me. It just frustrated me to see them. The only side of the ball that should be critiqued right now is this offense. Sure, the defense can always improve, and even Quincy after the game when he said, "I'm tired of saying the same shit. We're tired of hearing the same shit." Quincy was like, well, what can you improve? He had to actually think, because what else could he have done? And he said, I need to step up and be a leader. And I was like, at least you came up with an answer. You know what I mean? You're still taking accountability of things that you could do better. But the thing is, the loss wasn't on the defense at all. So I don't know. It's the last game was frustrating. And you know what? Woody Johnson is right. We should not be 2-3 right now.
No.
There's no way at all. And so we already haven't been living up to the expectation. Sure, I know people had Denver as a trap game and maybe the Vikings game as a trap game as well. There's no reason we shouldn't have won either of those two games. So we're not producing the way that we should with the offense that we have and the investment that we made in this offense this offseason.
100%. There isn't a single argument that can be made in regards to what you just stated. This team should be 4-1 at worst, 3-2. I believe the Broncos game should have been a win. Now, again, I'm with you. The Vikings game, I had us winning that one too in the preseason. But again, they've been playing lights out. They're now in the number one defense in football. I actually switched my pick to losing that game. I did. I thought we were going to lose that game. I even had them beating us by double-digit scores. I'm not even necessarily upset that we lost the Vikings game. I'm not. I think for me, what it boils down to is how we just didn't show up in the first half. I'm sick and tired of seeing the same product. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Tyron Smith, freaking an improved offensive line where we've invested money and draft picks into it. But I'm seeing the same exact product over the last 3 years when we were arguing then the issues were, offensive line, the quarterback. Like, we're seeing the same exact thing. And that lack of preparedness for me was what I think was the last straw for me. Had the Jets lost that game and we had shown up from the beginning and it was a dogfight, we wound up losing by the same score. I think we're okay with it. I think, all right, you know what? The Vikings have been on a roll. Number one defense, they had the number two offense. Hey, and we took it down to the wire. You respect that. But it was the fact that we didn't show up again until going into the end of the first half. We turned it on a little bit in the second half. Why? Why are we waiting to get to the point where this team is ready to go that late into games? The lack of preparation, the lack of in-game adjustment, the whole solid experience, man. And then now I'm getting mad again, thinking to myself, I'm glad he's fired. I'm like, this is why it's been a roller coaster for me all day today. Woody, again, I got to give him his props because the timing seems a little bit haste, but in actuality, he's right, man. Like, if we were talking about firing Saleh 2-3 games from now and we win one of the next three, we're literally trying to hold on or grasp at potentially a wild card spot. We'd be asking ourselves, like, man, if we had let this bum go freaking a couple weeks back, we had a chance against the Bills. And those are the kind of questions we don't want to be asking ourselves in a few weeks. Now, if it blows up in our face, at the end of the day, Woody did something he's never done before. He's doing everything he can to go ahead and drastically change it, to include even making a shout out to freaking Hassan Reddick today in his press conference. I saw that. I think somebody just posted that in the thing. But the Hassan Reddick reach out to me was kind of unique. That he stated straight up, "Hey man, get your butt in the building, and we're gonna make you a happy." It almost seemed like he said, "Listen, get in the building. We're gonna make you a happy guy. Trust me." That shows me that again he's not trying to go ahead and then nickel and dime this. He wants this to work. He wants this opportunity. I think he understands that we have a very narrow window, and he's trying to take full advantage of it. I just can't believe we're here right now as Jets fans. I can't believe that 5 weeks into the season, we're once again LOL Jets. You know what I'm saying? We're once again dysfunctional, et cetera, et cetera. And we're
I'm not, I don't think it's not like we're overjoyed at this decision. You know what I mean? This is a huge risk going into this huge game, but like we get it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I've already said if we don't make the playoffs, his ass was gone anyway. So,
Facts.
And you said it like you said it earlier. Better now than later, because, like I said, we have a fighting chance going into this week, and we need a for sure win. And whoever's going to do that, I'm rocking with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Reddick, if Reddick came in now, Jets fans would be overjoyed. We would forgive everything that's happened, and we would absolutely embrace him with open arms. So yeah, I was shocked that he said that at the end of the call.
Yeah.
He was like, I think I forgot who asked him that. I think it was Brian
Rich Cimini, I think.
Oh yeah, and he was like,
yeah,
that's something you should know. All I know is he needs to get in the car, drive down, what is it, 90,
95.
Yeah. Come in the building, sit down, we'll escort you. Like, so who knows? Maybe he is willing to open up his checkbook now, because he obviously believes in this offense.
Yeah.
And we do too, because we've seen them produce before. I don't think, the Patriots game was a one-off. I think this offense can do that.
Yes.
But it's just there's the only preparation I can tell you going into the Vikings game. The only preparation the New York Jets did was contain Justin Jefferson, and that was it.
Yep.
And that's an obvious. No shit. And the problem is there's no containing him. He's the best wide receiver in the league. There's no containing him. So that plan wasn't going to go very, very far at all.
I think when it boils down to is, I don't know. I was watching the Buffalo Jets fan stream earlier today, right? His breakdown of how the whole process went, what he thought about it. And he said something about how he thinks that when Coach Saleh got the word that he was no longer going to be the coach of the New York Jets, that potentially he was relieved, that potentially he was happy about it, because finally it was over. I can only imagine if you're Saleh, right, having had to deal with, the likes of Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Mike White, freaking the countless Simeon, the countless other quarterbacks. Boyle, oh my gosh, and having to always take that podium and say, "Hey, listen, we're gonna be all right. We're fine." They give us the best chance to win. Constantly have to regurgitate stuff that I just don't believe that he believed. I think this guy really thinks to himself, like, you know what? Thank God, it's over. I get to go back to being a defensive coordinator, something I love to do. We haven't really seen passion from Coach Saleh in terms of being the head coach. It's just one of those things where when you saw him with the 49ers, they had to get him a get-back coach because he was so pumped up and always wired. We haven't really seen that level of Saleh as a New York Jet head coach, right? It's something that we were all excited that we're going to get this high-powered, high-energy guy, and we haven't really got a chance to see it. Again, yeah, when you're losing, it's hard to go ahead and bring that energy. But some would argue that when you're losing is when you need to show that energy more, so your team can feed off of that. We haven't seen that from Saleh. And I think a lot of it has to do with him getting beat down in the media, having to sit there and lie to the people, lie to this fan base, lie to the reporters about how, we're going to figure this thing out. You know what? I think Zach Wilson gives us the best chance to win. That's our quarterback. Having to say that stuff so many times, I think it defeated him and it drained him. I think Buffalo's onto something. I think that when Saleh got the word today, he thought to himself, man, I'm getting paid $10 million for the next 2 years. I can go ahead and chill for a bit, but then I can jump right back into being a defensive coordinator, or he can be a defensive consultant now, still get paid from the Jets and get paid for doing that because it's not a coaching title. I think there's probably a piece of him that's relieved. And I'll say this, when it comes to Ulbrich, this is the guy who we saw it during freaking the Hard Knocks. He talked about how his whole goal is to one day to become a head coach. It's his dream to be a head coach in the NFL. I don't know how many individuals get to adopt a situation like this, because oftentimes when you're talking about getting cut or fired as the head coach, it's because you don't got the talent, you don't got the quarterback, you don't got there's just a bunch going wrong, right? You're getting fired midseason because there's no way. They got to go ahead and scratch it, start all over. But Ulbrich is literally like just adopting one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. This isn't by Jets fans metrics either. Like by NFL metrics, analyst metrics, top 5 roster in the NFL. Everyone expected to see a lot more from this team. But unfortunately, same old Jets mantra has been being riddled throughout the season because we're losing games by kicking ourselves in the freaking in the foot, right? Like we're shooting ourselves in the foot with the way we've lost these games. Ulbrich literally can come in here, change the dynamic because he brings in energy. He's going to hold individuals accountable. And this guy could go on a run with a very, very, very good team. Now, I think he might need to make a decision or a move when it comes to the offense. There was rumblings that Coach Saleh had came in today with the thought process of demoting Nathaniel Hackett from play caller because it wasn't working. I think there's some validity to that. I think that's a good way to go about it because, again, I do believe the firing of Coach Saleh was to send more of a message than him being the root problem. The offense has been atrocious, and you got to hold the offensive coordinator, the O-line. Like those individuals are specifically responsible for that aspect of the game. So what do you think about the potential of Ulbrich literally taking advantage of this opportunity? And do you see him running with this? Are we still playoff bound? Are we still Super Bowl bound? Like what are you thinking?
Oh, I think he's gonna lead us to like the promised land, the playoffs. Like I feel like I coming into the season, I was like, all right, like just a wild card spot, you know what I mean? And now I'm like, I really have faith that he can absolutely turn this around. It seems like he's already, since he got the news, he's already been starting to delegate, like, who's going to get what, because they asked him straight up, like, what's going to happen with the defensive coordinator? How are you going to like transition away from those duties and everything like that? So I have a really good feeling about this, and I hated it because as soon as Saleh was fired, it's like people were asking me who's going to be, the head coach once we found out Ulbrich was going to be the interim. They're like, who's going to be the head coach? And I'm like, let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about Belichick? I know people are throwing out Vrabel,
Oh, God.
Brian Flores. I heard all the names. I'm like, bro, we are not there yet. Okay. Like, I haven't even had time to process this fully, but give Ulbrich a chance. Why are we having? It would be better to promote from in the organization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look what we did to Bryce Huff. Oh, developed him just to see him go elsewhere. I don't want to have to do that. You know what I mean? And he's a good energy here. And either way, he was going to find a job elsewhere. Why not here with the Jets? I don't know. I think this really is going to light a fire under people's asses. And, I saw it with like Bo Nix and Sean Payton over the weekend. I don't know if you saw the clip of them kind of going at it
on the sideline.
That's what I want. Why I get Aaron Rodgers. He's been in the league a long time. He runs this whole offense. Get in his face, man, or get in someone else's face. I want to see some. Where's the accountability? You know what I mean? There's the passion just completely left his eyes the last couple of weeks. And every time you looked at him, it was the same thing, just with the arms crossed, the shaking my head. You would hear the F word every now and again. It's just that whole thing left. I really think that Ulbrich is going to do a very good job. And it starts with Monday Night Football. We have a good record already against the Bills. He's set up for, I think, success now.
100%.
Yeah.
I think Dano said it best. This is a golden opportunity for Brick because this is his dream, right? You want to be a head coach. You have an opportunity right now with a stacked roster to literally run away with it and get yourself that head coaching contract. The way Woody spoke about him too, it's almost as if like he believes wholeheartedly that this is a guy that I almost feel like he was comfortable firing Saleh because he knew he had Ulbrich in the bullpen. Because he talked about Ulbrich so passionately and so confidently that it seems like he's been thinking about this for a while. I don't know how long it's been. Maybe it started in the offseason whenever you saw teams trying to poach Ulbrich away from us to become their defensive coordinator or assistant head coaches, et cetera, et cetera. But he was awfully confident in making this happen and making Ulbrich the guy. I'm just glad that it wasn't Nathaniel Hackett. I saw people freaking out about that happening. I would have probably had to bury myself underground somewhere and just stop showing my face as a Jets fan for a while if Nathaniel Hackett was our offensive coordinator. But I'll also say this. If you're somebody who keeps talking about Bill Belichick, man, I don't know how else to say it. Bill Belichick is not a good coach. I don't understand how else to explain this to you guys. We've seen his record before Tom Brady. We've seen his record after Tom Brady. He's trash. He's solid. He's a great defensive-minded head coach that just happened to get the quarterback right. In this case, it was the GOAT that he happened to luck into in the 6th round. Bill Belichick to me is a bum. I'm sorry. Yes, he's the most winningest freaking head coach of all time. Yes, he's a Super Bowl freak. Got it. I understand that. But he can thank Tom Brady for those. Guy was a bum before Tom Brady. He's been a bum after Tom Brady. Great defensive coordinator. I'll give him that. But if he steps foot in one Jets drive and we're embracing that as a fan base, we're sick. We're sick. We don't have any respect for ourselves. Bill Belichick, to me, has no business coming anywhere near one Jets drive. And I hope Woody stands on business on that one and never makes that a possibility.
He's literally too old school for this offense anyways. I don't even think he fits. He doesn't fit at all. I don't see it.
In today's NFL, period.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, that wasn't a name I was thinking of at all.
Heck no.
Far away from that.
Gross.
You know what? I do want to ask you one question.
What's good?
Kind of controversial because it was a storyline going around about the little patch that Salah was wearing.
Yeah.
Do you think that has anything to do with what happened today?
I think it's ridiculous, if I'm being honest. I saw that come out, and I just sat there, and I'm like, are we serious? It's a conspiracy theory now? They fired Coach Salah because he was representing his home country. The dude is Lebanese. We knew this. They knew this when they hired him. It wasn't a surprise to them. He also wore the same patch last year when the team was getting their freaking teeth kicked in. He wasn't fired then. Like, make it make sense. I think people are reaching a lot, man. The dude was a bad head coach. He was a bad head coach. 20 and 36. What was it again?
36.
36. 20 and 36. That is horrible. Most head coaches would have never gotten to this point. He would have been fired almost a year and a half, if not 2 years ago. But he got here, got a mulligan last year because of the whole Aaron Rodgers injury. And then we start off the season the same exact way that we started off last year before he got this influx of talent. Listen, he got fired because he's a bad head coach. This whole concept that, oh my gosh, they let him go because he's Lebanese. Stop it. We need to stop everything. Everything about race, everything is really getting ridiculous now. Stop it. Everyone wants to be everybody is thriving for this whole victim mentality thing. Blows my mind. No, I don't believe he was fired because he was Lebanese. I believe he was fired because he was 11 and 36 and he was trash as a head coach.
I was on TikTok live and the people were coming here with the comments. I'm like, the NFL literally tells them to do this. It's like Heritage Month or something like that. Like right now, we're in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month. That's why you're starting to see the Por la Cultura type of ads and Isaiah Pacheco and all the commercials and stuff like that. We already knew this when we hired him. He was what I believe he's actually the first Muslim NFL head coach ever. Yes. So, and we knew that coming in. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. He wore it last year too. And I get right now we're just in a controversial time. There's a certain anniversary that just happened. I don't think that had anything to do with it. So with that storyline needs to be to put to bed instantly. That's crazy.
It's insane that it was even a thing. Like I saw the first Twitter story. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then actually, if I'm not mistaken, I was watching, I think it was Jake Asman's show. I think it was Jake's show. Some dude came on the show and literally said he didn't get fired because of the Lebanese thing. He wore that in London. And I was just like, and he believed it. Like he really believed like, yeah, I'm telling you right now, it wasn't because of his coaching. It wasn't? It wasn't 20 and 36. You've got Aaron Rodgers. It's the same probably. It wasn't because of the coaching. He really believes. And again, I just feel like everybody is so quick to chase victim mentality. It blows my mind. But no, I'm with you. It wasn't because of that. We need to stop with the nonsense.
I didn't even notice he was wearing the patch at all. It didn't even bother me at all. No, and you know what's funny? I was telling my Woody, my co-host earlier, I was telling him, you want to know the one thing I noticed in terms of just uniforms? There's two things. I noticed Sauce and Garrett with the baggy sleeves, the throwback little sleeves. And then the only thing I noticed is, you know, that new logo with the wing, the ugly wing that that no one likes when they dropped it. Aaron Rodgers rocks that so hard on a hat, on a t-shirt, on a hoodie, and that's the only thing I notice in terms of actual like what people are wearing and anything like that. I do not care otherwise, but seeing Aaron Rodgers rock that little ugly logo, I'm like, you do it because no one else is. I can tell you right now. I see no one else with that hat. No one has that hoodie, sir, either.
Yeah, I don't understand the hype of it either. But again, I think people like it because Rodgers is rocking it. But I'm with you. I think it looks at best. Not a fan. We got a question. What changes do you two want to see day one? I'll let you take this one first.
Dang, I gotta think about this. There's like so many I can think of. I think just in the general, God, I don't even know. There's like so much, and he has a freedom to do it. Like, are we talking about day one, talking about the tomorrow, or are we talking about Monday night?
I think GVH, thank you again for the super chat. Appreciate you. But I think he wants to say like he wants to see like Monday night when we see them boys come out under this new regime. What do we want to see? Day one, first game coming out.
And we need an established run game. We need. I just want to see an actual offense that is creative. I don't want to see a run one pass. You know what I mean? I want to see a team that's also bold but smart at the same time. A lot of people may disagree with me. Going for it on 4th and 2, that play that was drawn up was already set up for failure. He was so far behind the line of scrimmage already. And then on top of that, you got to go for the points there. That's when those situations like matter. So I don't know. I just want to see a not so vanilla offense. I want to see take some risk. You have people that Mike Williams is very good with the 50-50 ball. Throw the ball up in the air. We haven't seen a long pass, I feel like, these last 5 weeks. It's all been the short passing game, and teams are quickly catching on to it. They already know to stop the run, and that the only thing you have is a short passing game. Just get more creative. You know what I mean? He's going to need to sit down with some of these guys and, like I said, put some passion behind what you're saying. You know what I mean? New era. Let's turn it around. Do you know what I mean?
100%. 100%. Since you took what I was going to say as well, I'll change it up. I think for me, I want to see a prepared team. I want to see a prepared unit. I want to see those guys come out there and look like they know what they're doing on both sides of the football. I don't think we're giving enough credit to Ulbrich in regards to how he's been able to maintain this defense, which is still, by the way, a top 3 unit in the NFL right now as we speak today. When he's lost JJ, he doesn't have Reddick in the building. Huff is gone. JFM is gone. Don't get it twisted. The defensive side of the football actually got worse this season. Offense got better and giving us the same result. The defense got worse and are still playing at an elite level. I mean, they started off slow, but after the 49ers game, them boys strapped it up and they got their minds right. And I credit that to Ulbrich being able to adjust. You saw the blitzes that came out that we weren't expecting against the Patriots game. Like, he's able to adjust and take control of that defense, and those guys play hard for him. They show up every single game, and he makes adjustments in game. He doesn't have to wait till freaking the end of the game or the halftime. He's making adjustments like in game. I want to see that level of preparedness across the board. I want to see the defensive level of preparedness on the offense as well. And I think, again, as the guy who's in charge of the whole team now, I think he's going to establish that. I don't think he's oblivious to the fact that this team starts off slow. I wish we could have camera angles of Ulbrich whenever this team starts off. I kind of want to gauge what he's thinking. Is he shaking his head? Is he like, what are we like? I feel like this is a guy who's going to be vocal and he's not going to allow his team to come out and embarrassing him. I think he's going to go ahead and stand on business, like you said earlier, and he's going to hold those guys accountable. Accountability, I think, is going to be the biggest thing, too. The second thing for me. If somebody false starts or whatever, a dumb penalty, I want them on the sideline next to the coach. I want Ulbrich to be like, come stand your ass right here next to me until you figure it out. Send somebody else in there. And I know some people are like, oh my God, you're going to take one of your best players out. But sometimes you need to check those dudes because they need to remember, like, as good as you are, you can also become a liability with these penalties, which we've seen time and time again under a solid regime. So for me, I want to see them start off fast. I want to see them start as fast. The offense start off as fast as the defense does. And secondly, I want to see some accountability. If you got to pull a player off the field and have them stand next to you, so be it. So be it. And I would also love, I would love for us to see somebody else calling offensive plays on Monday night. I really don't want to see Hackett on a microphone. I don't want him talking to Rodgers. I don't want him interacting with Rodgers. The crazy part is you saw Rodgers getting frustrated this past week because the calls were coming in too slow. Even he was looking at the sideline, like kind of like shaking his head when calls came in because he knew they were stupid. So I want to see somebody else calling the plays too. That's going to be the bonus 3 for me, is what I would like to see day one. And I think, again, Ulbrich is the kind of guy that's going to demand these things. So, I mean, I'm excited. I'm actually more excited about what can be, because one thing I know for sure, it's a risk. It's a gamble to do this at 2-3 when you're still very much in the fight to even win your division. But we also know what a Robert Saleh-led New York Jets team looks like. And it doesn't change because you got better personnel. He's proven that in 5 games. It doesn't change. It's the same product we saw last year with worse personnel. That's the Robert Saleh-led New York Jets. The thing is, you got nothing but positivity and potential and hope in what an Ulbrich-led New York Jets team can look like. And that, to me, goes a long way in its own right. The O-line. So I've dropped the link if y'all want to jump in real quick and kind of share your thoughts. The link is in the comments. We've only got about 10 minutes left in the show, roughly.
A lot of O-line comments in here.
Yeah, everybody's. So with the O-line, right? The O-line do not execute their assignments. It's extremely alarming how many blocks are missed or 2 placements communicate and covering the same hole. So again, this falls on the offensive preparedness, right? And I don't know. I know Saleh said that he was spending time with the offensive side of the football, but there's no way you're spending time on the side of the football watching these guys block, and your defense, an elite defense, is not creating confusion for this offensive. So I'm starting to question, what are they practicing when it comes to the offensive line rotations? Like what? Because our defensive line can cause fits for every other offensive line in the NFL. You're telling me in practice our O-line just makes this looks great. There's no concerns. So it goes back to the preparedness thing, man. Like a lot of these missed assignments. Now, granted, I saw Ruckert getting put into a turnstile by that dude that the Vikings brought in. That was just embarrassing to see Ruckert get beat like a drum time and time again in that aspect. But in all actuality, I do believe with Morgan Moses coming back in this next game, that's going to get better. You also have a rookie left tackle playing right tackle, and you're actually seeing that. Olu has looked very, very spotty to be nice about it in terms of playing right tackle. I don't think I'm stressing out about that as much. I think that with Morgan Moses getting back, you're not going to face many defensive lines like you faced against the Broncos and faced against the freaking Vikings. Again, people remember, those 2 teams are 1 and 2 in terms of the most blitz-heavy defenses in the NFL. And they had the personnel to do it. Everyone's like, oh, well, now they got the blueprint for it. No. Everybody can't just do that. Like, you got to have the personnel to be able to do that effectively. Otherwise, you will get beat. It takes a lot of discipline, the right defensive coordinator, and the right personnel to do it. We went up against 1 and 2. By the way, the Vikings were the number 1 defense in football. The Broncos were the number 2 defense in football as of literally this weekend. So it's not like we went against scrubs and this was happening to us. It's going to get better, in my opinion. I really do believe that. But I can't argue it is frustrating because we expect better. But the O-line, I think, will get better. I believe it'll get better. What do you think?
And no, I already said, like, I didn't think this O-line was going to be a top 10 O-line. I thought they were going to be a mid O-line. At the same time, too, Brees, there was even a clip in the last game that Brees, if he's a little more patient on the line, there was a gap for him to run through. I don't know why you ran it the way that you did. He's great in open space. He just needs to be a little more patient sometimes. He had a huge hole. And I was like, what are you doing? Sometimes I feel like people like Brees, and particularly, maybe sometimes I think Garrett, and sometimes even Sauce, you're not done developing yet. No. You know what I mean? You've had some great seasons. You are far from done. You know what I mean? And that goes back to coaching at the end of the day. You gotta keep honing in on them. Sometimes I think they're set and they think their job is safe. And look at Brees right now. You're getting shown up by a rookie, to be honest. You know what I mean? Braylon Allen came in and you're easily replaceable. So that's what I'm saying, holding them accountable too. But This O-line will get better. But Shaunu, what do you expect from him? He's a rookie. You know what I mean? We knew he was going to play. We didn't think this early. But yeah, I do think they were missing Morgan Moses the last couple of weeks. And I think it's going to get better. It's going to mesh well. It's just need to be a little more patient with it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I like the way you touched on Brees, Sauce, and Wilson. I think Salah being the friendly players guy has told those guys how great they were for so long that in their mind they might think like I've arrived, like I've arrived, and that's we're seeing this year. That's far from the case, right? I said this the other day. I was like, it's almost as if they're finally experiencing the dreaded sophomore slump in their third year. Because across the board, all three of them have not played up to par. I know we just saw Garrett Wilson get, his 100-plus yards, a TD, 13 receptions, but that was off of 22 targets. I mean, I get it. Some of those targets were off a little bit, but that's a lot of targets. The return on investment is not there when you're throwing the ball 22 times to your number one wide receiver and 14 catches for 101. Look, maybe I'm being nitpicky, but I think those guys right now are not playing to the caliber of football I think the majority of us and NFL analysts were expecting. Brees Hall was the number one pick in fantasy football, like literally the number one consensus pick of fantasy football this season. Garrett Wilson has been a round one pick in fantasy football this season. Like, these are guys that everybody thought like, the Jets are going to go ahead and take off with these studs. Reigning offensive rookie of the year, the guy who was second in scrimmage yards, the running back, and Brees Hall. Like, you were expecting these things because the team did get better. But again, Salah just proves to us that like you can add all the talent you want to, but coaching is always going to be a deciding factor. And going back to, I think Buffalo said this, like, did anybody really believe that even if the Jets made it to the playoffs and we're going up against these good teams, that we were going to have any kind of advantage with Salah at the helm? I thought about that and thought to myself, against playoff teams, no. And you can't depend on the talent alone to win in those situations because those teams are good too. They were able to make the playoffs. So I think it was well overdue. I thought it was done quickly, but in hindsight, I think Woody sees what the rest of us have been talking about in terms of talent, and he was not willing to risk it going down the tubes, 3-4 weeks down the road. We've got Infrared with us in the building. Infrared, what's good, man? How you living, bro?
Hey, relaxing. I took my ashwagandha already.
I took mine this morning. I feel that.
Yeah, to get my blood pressure back to normal and everything like that. So love you guys and everything like that. This morning was a shocker. It was a shocker. Uh-huh. I didn't expect it at all whatsoever. I don't think any of us did. To be, quite frankly about it. But I think it was a good move. I loved, Salah. I had my pom-poms out last year,
Yep.
For the guy, because he took us to, 5 games above 500 with Zach Wilson and Simeon. And, you got to give him props for that. But these past 2 games, I noticed that he had 21 penalties within 2 games.
Yeah.
And didn't want to hold anyone accountable. So I think Coach Aldridge will do better with that.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, bro. I think for me, I lost my mind. I lost my freaking mind after the Broncos game. 9 penalties for 90 yards. He gets up there for the press conference, and they asked him, hey, listen, these penalties are getting crazy. What is your plan to go ahead and get these in check? And that bum said, nothing. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to get it. It's going to get fixed.
Quincy Williams heard that too. He heard that, and that just doesn't cut the mustard,
Yeah, that's what
I was seeing so many false starts and I thought I was done with that after Mekhi Becton last year. 2 on Brees on a running back.
How is the running back?
Listen,
that was it for me. Listen, and I've been one of the biggest Salah homers, man. I've been a Salah homer. I had shirts added to my logo that said all gas, no brakes. Like, I was a Salah homer for 4 years. And all actuality counting last year, I was just like, he didn't have the quarterback. Like, we got to give him another shot. This defense looks great, though. It looks so amazing. I just believe, let's get him a quarterback, then we can tell. But then this year, opening up the way we have, and I was still willing to just be patient. But the moment he said, we're gonna do nothing. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing, and we're gonna get. That's when I lost my fucking mind. I was
Yeah,
done. I was done. That
I,
was it for me. Couldn't do it.
yeah, I agree, my brother. Like, it's only so many times you could get punched in the face. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Before you're like, your back is against the wall now, and you're like, all right, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, we gotta do something different here. Coach Olbrich, he's played for San Fran. The players respect him. The other coaches respect him too, as well, in the facility.
Yep.
So, let's get it. It's time to change the dynamic.
Facts.
So why
Man.
not? It's a breath of fresh air. We deserve better. We deserve
That part.
better.
That part.
Abby deserves better. Brother Gunny deserves better. Like we all deserve better.
We
So
all deserve
why
better.
not? I
This
think they
fan
did a
base
great job.
is too passionate, too loyal, too dedicated to this team. We had people fly out to. Did y'all see how many Jets fans were in London? Like
A lot.
they were
A
you
lot.
and that was the return on. That's when we got back with another solid led New York Jets team that showed up unprepared, and Aaron Rodgers had to play gymnastics to try to get us back into it at the end of it. Although he too was at fault for some of the ugly we saw as well. I'm not giving him a pass either, but a
Right.
lot of that I still fall on. I'm sorry, man. You're the head coach, and people will say, "Well, he was the defensive court." That's cool. That's great, but he's the head coach.
I
He's
felt
the
bad for
general.
the people that were not to cut you off, brother Gunny. No, I felt
Oh,
bad
yeah,
for the
good.
ones that went all the way to England. They probably paid like $5,000, like
Bruh.
getting their passports ready, hotels ready. You're talking about Jake Asman. My people, Gotham City crew, Claudio and all them, out there in BK. Shout out to them. Salute to them,
Yep.
brothers. They're only across the river from me. Um, to be in an airplane coming back from a loss, where A-Rod
Demoralizing.
just chucked it a little to the left when he should have threw it on the outside. You know what I mean? It would have been catchable. That must have been crazy to be in that airplane flying back out here to jump in Jersey or to New York, LaGuardia, JFK or whatnot, or anywhere in the US. Coming back
Just
from
painful.
that, yeah, like I sent a lot of messages towards Jake Asman too. Like, listen, sorry, that right there, we should not have lost that game. I even seen people from the Vikings side like, hey, listen, like you guys should have won that game. Viking
100%.
fans on Twitter,
Yep.
they're like,
Same here.
listen, like they were biting their fingernails over there.
Yep.
You know what I
They
mean?
couldn't
So
believe. They were like, we couldn't believe you guys held, Sam Darnold
yeah,
to 48% completion, no touchdowns, got the turnover, and y'all lost that game. I'm hearing this from Vikings fans, and I'm like, you're making it
yeah,
worse. I
yeah.
appreciate the sympathy, but you're literally making it worse. Man, Infrared, I appreciate you, brother, man. Thanks for jumping
Nah,
on and
love you
sharing your
guys.
thoughts, Doc.
If not,
Thank
You have a
you.
good night.
all right, let's get it.
All right, brother.
Take care.
All right, we got Johnny also in the building. Johnny, what's good, my dude? How you living, man?
Of course, you have all the Mets gear on today.
Look at him. Just flexing.
There's some Philly tears right there, man.
Oh man,
Love it.
So
Love
you're
it.
in a good mood, huh, Johnny? You happy as hell today, huh?
No, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I'm better. You know what I mean? Like the move that happened today needed to be done, right? But I still don't. It doesn't get me excited. It doesn't get me hyped up because we haven't won. I mean, we're going into this game 2-3, and now it's a must win for us. We put ourselves in this position all over again, right? I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball 96 times in the last 2 games, and we're expecting him to play hero ball. You know what I mean? The teams are making us one-dimensional. That's on Salah, man. We're being outscored 267 points since his tenure as a head coach. Going into the half, playing catch-up ball every single time, you're expecting your defense to keep you in the game as long as it can. Nah, man, it just doesn't happen like that. I mean, Salah is in the conversation as the top 5 worst coaches we've ever had. Kotite, it's number 1 is Kotite, number 2 is Gase, and then it's Salah as 3. That's nuts to me. You know what I mean? Again, if we win, it cures everything for us. We're not talking about this. And Gunny, like, I'm glad you came up here because I know you said your wife is a Packers fan, so you've watched a lot of the games. Have you ever seen Aaron Rodgers that frustrated, bro?
Never.
You know what I'm
Never.
saying? Like,
Yeah, and I've seen him with the Mike McCarthy days when he and him were like, bashing heads, and he's never looked this frustrated ever in his tenure as a Packer.
that's exactly what I'm saying. That play, that double move that Garrett does, right? 10 out of the 10 times, it happens. But when you've been sacked 3 times, when you've been hit almost 10 times, right? You start going to your right and you're like, oh shit, I only got maybe a second and a half before I get smashed up again and everything. And I'm having my players pick me up. They're scraping me off the freaking highway because that's how he's looked. He looks like he's been ran over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just tough. It's frustrating, and then you get a guy like Quincy that comes up that's normally right. He lets his own freaking work do the talking for him. He said, I've had it. I've been here from the jump with you guys. I've been rocking with y'all for this, but enough is enough, right? They're not holding anybody accountable on the other side, right? And why not? You got freaking Rodgers that goes ahead and says the same thing the week before. How about keeping some of these dudes accountable for some of the penalties that are occurring from us? Penalties are coaches' issues, right?
Facts.
You got Michael Clemens, right? And this pissed me off, right? Where we got lucky by not getting that one call when he went on the end. I think on the outside, it should have been like a crazy penalty.
Yeah, roughing the passer because he hit him outside. Definitely hit him like too late.
Right? But you get Salah going like this to the dude. Yo, good job, bro. Good job. No,
you saw that
bro.
too, right? Yeah.
I'm like, and I'm here like, yo, is this dude serious? Is he doing this like live in front of everybody? You know what I mean? Yo, Abby is awake at like 4:00 in the morning,
watching this crap.
watching this crap and everything.
Live streaming too on TikTok. Like they saw me go through the whole wave of
doing her part as a fanatic, and they reward her with that trash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with like, all my kids and everything. I got my little 3-month-old in here and she's hearing me say all types of words and all that. And she's just like looking at me like, what's going on? It's just frustrating, man. As a die-hard fan that's had this fandom for this team. Look, I love the Mets. I love the Knicks, bro. But my number one squad is the Jets. You know what I mean? It's going to mean so much more once we start really winning and we win the Super Bowl. I'm crying like a baby if we win a Super Bowl. And that's because that's how, I became a sports fanatic because of this team, because of my father. You know what I'm saying? This is generational stuff that comes along with it. You just don't become a Jets fan. I mean, look, Abby spits facts, consistently facts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Her rants are right on board with all of us. Yep. All of us, and on the frustration and stuff like that, right? But it is like then I'm like teaching my kids this stuff, and my daughter's like, damn, are they gonna lose again? Like we're here, we should be better, Aaron Rodgers here. So I appreciate you guys and everything you guys are saying because it is truth on what you guys have been saying today on the show. Like and it's frustrating, man. Like. But it doesn't move the needle for me with Ulbrich being the head coach and all that. He hasn't proved it. He's been part of the team that's been losing for the last how many years? You know what I'm saying? Like, now, is he going to hold people accountable? I don't know. I hope he does. He should. But that's me, again, putting my hopes and dreams into a man that's been part of the issue for a lengthy time. Do I think he's going to do better than Salah? He looked like it on the presser to me. For him going ahead and saying, I got to go ahead and ball up all my notes because I'm not a defensive coordinator anymore. I'm a head coach now, and I got to see the whole picture, not just the defense. And, so I'm like, I bet. Like, this guy is saying what needs to be said, but we've been told that before. I mean, you had Adam Gase. We should have known better. My man's eyes were going like this, bro, on the damn stuff. It was insane. And we were expecting this dude to be the guy. Nah, man. Like, all right, my rant's done. I'm sorry about that. I
don't apologize, bro.
had to
Hey,
let
this
it
is
out.
therapy. That's just therapy for Jets fans, man.
I am glad you brought up Michael Clemens because we're going to have to watch him this week after the drama that happened in the offseason. Remember, he got called a little bitch boy. And I'm like, that temper needs to be under control. Ulbrich better put his ass in line. There better not be none of that shit talking after the game or during the game either.
Yeah, don't cause us the game. Don't cause us the game. That one play that we were talking about, it would have hurt us. It would have extended the drive again, all over again. Because that would have been like 15 yards again in the first down.
Yep.
Again, it's frustrating, man, because they've been getting away with this stuff for too long. I hope Coach Ulbrich puts everybody in this place. I believe he's gonna go ahead and say, Hackett, you're nuts. Sit your small ass down, okay? And we're giving the ball to Braylon. People are trying to compare Brees to Braylon right now. They're two completely different people. We're not utilizing him the correct way. You know what I'm saying? We're expecting this dude to run in between the A gap. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? You got Bates. Who's Bates? The last Bates that I know played in the movie Psycho. You know what I mean? That's the only Bates I know. Like this, and he's missing chip blocks that he should not be missing. And then you got like 2-3 defenders in the background tackling him. But we blame Brees for that? No, we're expecting Brees to break 3 tackles and whatnot and then run it for 70-something yards on a consistency. It's not going to happen. Teams have made us one-dimensional. Ulbrich, prove it to us. Show us that we're not one-dimensional, right? Let us win. We win this week, the narrative changes. The tune starts to go a little bit more up again. And I'm over here next week talking about
Super Bowl.
You know what I mean? Yeah, bro.
Too soon? Oh, there we go. Yeah.
No, not bro. Bro. It's not Wednesday yet. You know what I mean? Wednesday is when I start believing again in this team. Wednesday is the day when I'm all I'm like, yeah, Super Bowl, baby. Who's messing with us? JETS, Jets, let's go, and all that. But hey, I appreciate what you guys are doing here, man. You guys are killing it. You know what I mean? Gunny, it's always a pleasure when you have me on. Abby, keep doing your thing. Like, hey, everybody needs to go show homie love. Like she definitely does kill it on the consistency, right? Gunny, you too, man, bro. When you put your stuff on halftime and I watch it, bro, like during every single game, dude, it's the same feeling I'm feeling, bro. I'm like, damn, man, he going through it too. We all going through it.
Yeah, man. It's funny because again, I got to give credit to the wife, man. Like she would see me in these halftimes, just like going through. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm just talking to myself, and she goes, "You know what you should do? You should go ahead and tape that, share that with your fellow Jets fans. I bet you they're feeling the same way." And I was just like, they're not gonna want to see me cry like a little. But nah, sure enough, I've got a lot more. I guess you can say interaction from those my Gunny's halftime thoughts than I expected to, man. Like it sucks, bro, because like I sit there and then I literally have to walk outside of the house. I'm like, all right, just don't start screaming into the phone like you want to. Just talk like an adult. And I have to literally control myself and talk like an adult, man. While
I can't, man. I'm like
over it's all sunny outside too. It's like
yeah.
Day, and I'm just feeling like total crap right now.
Dude, I'm holding my daughter, right? Like I'm holding my daughter watching this game and all that, trying to give my wife some like time for her to rest and everything like that. But she knows if the Jets lose, my day's shot. Like I don't even want to talk. I don't want to do nothing. You know, just like let me be with my little kid. I'll feed her. Don't worry about me. Let me just be in the darkness. All right. And the last thing I would say this about Salah, and I'll be done with him. Salah did not play as if a dude's job was on the line. I never understood it. Why were we not running? And we're the Jets. We don't run jet sweeps. Why? I just don't understand it. I don't comprehend it. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, this is really it. It's an obsession, man. Like, it's like Aventura, bro. Obsession. Yeah. I don't know if you know some bachata.
Unreasonable dedication.
Yeah,
that part.
And this is for anybody who looks at who looks at Jets fans or call themselves a Jets fans and just wants to look at this team in a negative light. Like, listen, man, I don't know what to tell you. I am a New York Jets fan. I'm a fanatic by every measurement. The majority of us are. Those of you who watch it expecting them to lose or hoping that they lose or don't believe they can achieve anything, I don't even know why you watch. I don't even know why you watch. If you're watching this team already with a thought process of, yep, we suck, we're gonna lose, then stop watching. Don't do it to yourself. Stop watching. Like me, this is who I am. I'm a Jets fanatic. I can't help myself. Yes, I'm going to look at the positivity until it shoots me in the face and I realize, got me again. And then you know what? Next year, I'm going to jump right back on that horse because why? I'm a Jets freaking fanatic. Wanted to make sure I shared that because sometimes people need to separate, the fans from the watchers because they're different. They're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the same type of individuals that watch the Jets.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like I said this year, because they upped the Sunday ticket and whatnot, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it this year. I'm just gonna go to the bar and all that. But the day before, right, they got my ass. They
And you paid more for it by waiting the last minute.
I paid so much more for it, and I was like, you know what? I gotta do it, man. I'm here, bro. I have TVs in almost every room in my house, right?
Yep, same
and
here.
what I do this, right? If they're losing on one TV, I expect if I go onto the other TV,
It'll
they're
change.
gonna start winning, and they're
doing your part.
Yeah, like I'm
not crazy.
No, bro, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad, bro. Like if they're not doing something, I'll take one of my shirts and my jerseys off, and I'll put something else on. Like it's stupid, is what it is. Because then my wife's looking at me like I got a problem. Like, what is wrong with you? How much of this stuff we're gonna have to do a whole load of laundry again? You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Doing part. They need me to do this for us to go ahead and turn it around. I literally am convinced that somehow, somewhere where I sit on my couch, like if I'm wearing the same jersey from I didn't wash the jersey after the Patriots game. I was like, I'm rocking the same jersey. I'm sitting in the same exact location, having the same exact drink at the same exact time the game kicked. Like that's me, man. Like listen, I love this team. It makes no sense. They've done nothing but break our hearts time and time and time again. But we didn't choose this life, man. Like you're a Jets fan. You're a Jets fan. Like you know what I'm talking about. You didn't choose this. Some of us could have chosen to be Eagles fans. Some could have chosen to be Giants fans. They've had more recent success that would have alleviated some of this pain. What did we do? Nah, we embraced and chose this life. And so once you choose it in, man, it's like being a gang, man. It's just blood in, blood out.
Bro, bought those locals for forever, bro.
For life, bro.
Bought those locals forever, bro. Dude, you blooded, dude. You just read my mind, man. Little milkweed and all that stuff, bro. I love that movie, Blood In, Blood Out. By the way,
that's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
I watch it every Christmas. That's my Christmas movie. Fun fact about me: my whole family watches. It's so bad to watch it with my daughter and stuff like that. But it's okay. She needs to learn. She needs to know the some of the slang that comes along with it. So, hey, I appreciate you guys. Yo, Gunny, keep killing it, man. Abby, keep doing your thing, man. I really, really do appreciate you guys. This is a giant community, man. We're able to come up here, share how crappy we're feeling and not be judged for it. It's still METS.
No, we ain't doing that.
No, we ain't doing that.
We're not doing that here, bro.
The Diamondbacks, you bums, man.
He knows I'm a Yankees fan too. He's over here flaunting. We're not doing that here, bro.
Hey, I'm hoping for the Subway World Series, man.
That would be great,
bro. It's a big possibility, man.
That would be great, man. We got that loss, man. We need to go ahead and get our minds right. But that would be freaking awesome. The Mets, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. The Mets, I think, to me, are another huge reason why I'm looking at the season. I'm thinking to myself, all right. Listen, they had to make a huge change, almost like mid-season, because y'all look like y'all were out of it, man. I thought y'all were done. I had jokes for days. Then I don't know what happened. A switch came on. I heard y'all had like a team, a players only meeting or something like that, and then all of a sudden, boom, y'all went on that run, bro. So I'm go ahead. My bad. Explain yourself.
Mendoza, right, said the analytics is not working. I'm messing up as a coach, and I need to do better. He did that. He went to the team. He said, I'm failing you guys. I'm going to do better. I need to move Lindor onto to the beginning of the rotation itself. Change the whole dynamic of it. Bless you. Bless you. Right? Salah never did that. And that's the comparison of the Jets and the Mets that I have. You know what I mean? How many times you got the defense have had these meetings by themselves and said, we need to at least score 14 points. That's crazy. Crazy that the damn defense is expecting to score 14 points for us to win a game. instead of being like, yo, let's just shut out this team, hold them under 10 points, and we'll be okay. Nuts. Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. I know you guys. I got more other people on here. JETS, Jets. Let's go. Everybody smash the likes, sub it up. Y'all already know. Deuce.
Appreciate you, Johnny. Have a good night, brother. All right.
You're like me with like, I had my beanie on the first half of the game, and I was like, no, not wanting to take it off, but I did anyways. I swear I feel like my 17 Garrett Wilson jersey is cursed. I know he had a great game, but I was wearing it. I was like, I'm just going to start just rocking the Mark Sanchez only over here. Like, so, and this is why too, I hate when my friends always want to watch the game with me, and I love it. But I also hate it because they don't watch it the way that I do. They will never be that into it. They will never understand why it makes me so upset. Yeah. I go into work and my coworker, he's a Giants fan.
They probably know if you won or lost.
Yeah, exactly. They want to know if we won or lost. And even the girls, they don't know anything about football. They're like, oh, did your team win? The green team, And I'm like, I appreciate it because you obviously associate me with the Jets, which is great because they're my entire personality. But yeah, I came in today and I was like, they're like, oh, how's it going? I'm like, Jets fired their head coach. And she's like, what? She doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah.
No
It's funny because I think that's my identity as well, right? Like I didn't even go to work today. Like I'm taking time off. I needed some time off, and I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna use some PTO. I'm staying home. I ain't going to work this week. And then it came up this morning, right? My phone blew up. Everybody at my job is like, bro, you okay? You good? They fired Saleh. I got family reaching out to me. I got Marines who I haven't talked to in years. Dog, y'all just fired Saleh. And it dawned on me at that point. I was just like, man, my identity has gone from being a Marine to being a Jets fan. This is literally what I've become. And I'm fine by it because a lot of how my mood will be in a week is determined by this team on Sunday or Monday or whatever. Like we beat the Patriots, man. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was walking on my high. It was great. I had extra work I had to do at the office. Didn't care. Got it. I'll do it. I got to come in on a Monday, even though I'm not supposed to be here on Monday. Sure thing. No problem, boss. I'm there. We lose, and man, I just don't talk to me. Just leave me alone. I will talk to my family and my family only. This team has become a part of my life. I'm not sure if that's healthy or not. It's probably not. And I just saw freaking Frankie say, where is it? I got to share this again. Being a Jets fan is just helping us, you know what I'm saying, in terms of our increasing our pain tolerance because they constantly find ways to create agony and pain for us. But again, I think one of the most loyal and passionate fan bases. Call us crazy, but we still believe in this team. We're still here. Even Benny, who's like, I'm just tired of losing. I'm not buying anything from them. You know what, Benny? We know you're going to watch the games on Sunday and Monday. We know you're going to sit there and you're going to hope and you're going to pray that the team comes through. Why? Because you're a Jets fan. You're addicted like the rest of us, and you're committed. No matter if you're going to spend your money on Jet stuff or not, you're going to give them the most precious commodity you have, your time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the Jets got people triggered all the time. Like I posted that video. They don't come out the woodworks until the Jets lose. And then it's like fans of random teams. Where you been? Because you weren't saying nothing before the game. You were dead quiet. And even my friend, she's a Vikings fan. We hadn't talked in a while. She's like, that was close. And I was like, ooh, girl. And she's like, what time did you get up? I was like, ooh, 6:30. She's like, the dedication. She's like, I see it. I was like, I was up at 5:50 because I wanted to be ready to go. Yep. I wanted to make sure I watched some of the pre stuff they see during the games. I wanted to look at the stadium, like all for me to be disappointed. And that's what I'm saying. I don't like watching the games with people because I just get too into it. You know what I mean? I'm taking notes. I'm up and down. I'm not sitting in the same chair. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, listen, a lot of people keep asking me, like, why don't I stream games? Why don't I stream games? I can't do it. I had to sit through a game on the Thursday Think of It with Green being a couple weeks back, right? And we won the game. It was the Patriots game, so it was great. And in my head, I thought to myself, maybe I need to start streaming the games now because we won the game that I sat on the stream. Maybe I need to do my part and just suck it up and stream games. But I've gotten to that point. I know I'm I'm too fidgety. I'm standing up. I literally will stand up from the couch, get right in front of the TV like this, like staying right close to it. I got to go sit down. I messed it up. We had a great drive going. I'm just too erratic to be doing live streams of watching the Jets.
Well, and I was live streaming the game for the first time, the first half only, and people are like, "Why did you get off? We were enjoying it." I'm like, "Do you not know how hard it is for me to hold this phone, interact with you guys, read the comments, pay attention here? I want to get up. I'm screaming. I'm like yelling. Yeah, no, I need a moment to just be in my zone. You should have seen me. I do this with the Jets game too, but the Arizona game was on the TV. I was sitting right in front of it, like a little kid, and just looking for it. Same thing with the Jets when they're on like prime time, and I get it on the local TV. I'm like, oh, great, better than watching it on my laptop or going to the bar. People at the bar, I'm like the only Jets fan here. I see nobody everywhere I go, and then they're like, "Who is this chick? You could have a seat, girl." I cannot be stopped.
Oh man, listen, my bad, Abby. I said an hour, and here we go again, an hour and 30 minutes. Listen, this was a great show. I appreciate your time. I know it was last minute, but I really felt like we were going to be able to really talk about how this team upset us this past week. And then, of course, the solid news broke, and we couldn't wait to just talk about that today. So I appreciate your time as always. You know what I'm saying? Tell the people where they can go ahead and find you.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier. I was like, I actually rewatched the first half, and was going to rewatch the second half of the game. I've never done that. And the whole time as a Jets content creator, I've never done that. But I was like, I am that pissed. And then this news came out. So I'm at ab602434 on Instagram and TikTok. I've been really active on TikTok, so you should go there. I hop on live like just whenever, like this morning on at 7:30. You never know what you're gonna get on there. And then follow my joint page with my boy Woody. It's Take Flight Talk on TikTok, and then take_flight_talk on Instagram. All in my bio, though.
Yeah, listen, I got her socials in the description. Definitely go give it a follow, man. Like again, when you watch some of her content, literally she's speaking for all Jets fans and what they're experiencing at the moment, because it's usually positive or blunt to the negatives. Like, so you know exactly. Like, you're looking at, you're like, oh wow, yeah, nah, that's definitely how I'm feeling today. So she really catches the essence of what it means to be a Jets fan in the moment of wins or losses. So, Abby, I appreciate your time. Appreciate everyone for hanging out with us at the Hangar tonight. Yeah, tomorrow night I'll be on for the Run the Tape with Gunny and Mike, 7:30 Central. So see you guys there if you want to go ahead and break down the tape of what we saw against the Vikings. Can we get better? Is it too late? Can it be? We'll figure it out tomorrow night. But yeah, other than that, go Jets.
Thanks, Gunny.